Hello, hello, and good evening, everybody. I'm Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the coaching community, the Book Business Bosses, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth. And tonight, woo, we're going to survive and thrive. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So we are halfway through the month of March. Can you imagine? Can you believe it? It is March 15th, and it is the last month of the first quarter. So super excited. And I trust that things have been going on in your life. And I am super duper excited to be with this ladies this evening. It is just over the top ecstatic of all we've done and all that we've been able to do. So just a little backstory for those of you who are joining us kind of for the first time and you're like, well, okay, so what's the big deal about telling our stories? We did a panel, I guess it was last year in July of 2020, kind of, and not at the actual shutdown. It was still shut down at the height of COVID. It was just a whole lot going on, but it was telling our story, memories of love. And each one of us have had loss of one kind of or another. And from there, I said, how do we move forward? How do we go forward? How do we still go through the grieving process? And because it is a journey and because it is a process, what's our next? And these ladies have suffered loss, and I have too. But how do we move forward? And we really wanted to encourage people in that process. Not, oh gosh, we're just so perfect and everything is just so wonderful. And I don't feel like being crying and laying in the bed and keeping the covers over my head one day or not. No, these are realistic stories. These are honest, pure stories. So much so that the editor, we had 2 rounds of edits for the book, and the second editor identified with the story and the book most definitely. I had no idea she had, lost her husband and, all the loss she had suffered. So it blessed her. So I know it is actually gonna bless you. So let me just introduce, even though it's a collaboration, the book has chapters by all of us. I really want you to support these authors and purchasing their books. They'll give you signed copies. And so I'm going to have the availability for you to be able, I'll have their contact information, and they're going to talk a little bit about the organization and kind of what this book has meant to them. If you have questions, if you want to ask about their experiences, the writing process, any of that, feel free to put in the comments. I know we're in YouTube and I know we're on Facebook Live, but feel free to ask questions as well. I'm quite sure we'll be able to field that. And I trust that we just have a conversation this Monday evening. And hello, Ms. Beth Baker. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. So I want to introduce everybody. So Miss Karen Brown, Miss Cassandra Lanier, and then Miss Elgina Bullock Smith, and then Miss Marquise Watson. And then again, I'm Julia Royston. So I am going to start off with Miss Marquise Watson. And let me unmute you.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you, Julia?
Super excited. You can tell I'm just over the top excited. So, do you have your first book in your hand?
Yeah,
I
do.
Your first book
How'd you know? I do.
Good. I know. See, the BK Royston Publishing authors, they know. So, Broken but Beautiful. So, tell us just a little snippet for those who don't know even about that book.
Absolutely.
What that's about and kind of the description of that book.
Yeah, so Broken but Beautiful is a 31-day devotional for grieving families. And in that book, I kind of walk through my personal experience of losing my firstborn child from when we found out we were pregnant up until the present when we started an organization in her honor. So it kind of goes from that initial loss all the way through moving forward.
Awesome, awesome. And of course, that website that you see at the bottom, if you want to purchase that first book, as well as you still have care packages available, yes?
Yes, we do. So we still have our cure packages. So our organization is the Alana Marie Project, and we actually started that in honor of our daughter, Alana, who passed away in 2014. And kind of our mission behind the work is to encourage, empower, and support other families who've also experienced the loss of a child. And we provide grief support packages for families that do experience the loss of a child. So if anyone watching this has experienced that, loss of pregnancy, from miscarriage, stillbirth, or infant death, and you would like a grief support package or some resources, please check us out on our website listed below.
Awesome, awesome. As well as to purchase the her book, and well as to share with other family members. Now, let's go to telling our stories, surviving and thriving. And so the difference, the vast difference of that project versus the other project. Okay, wait a minute. Before I move forward to even that, your husband, I want you to speak to your husband Antoine's project about men, grieving men, and that I know we're not talking to him this evening, but I did want you to put a plug in regards to that, because I know sometimes the gentlemen kind of get left out of that, and it's not that they don't have any emotions or that they don't grieve. It's that, you know, they need a safe place for that to happen.
I agree. So the purpose behind the video, my husband Antoine, he's the co-founder of our organization. He did a grieving fathers video a couple weeks ago. We just released it. And really, his heart behind the video was to create a safe space for men who have experienced the loss of a baby to really be able to talk about their perspective of grief and to give advice and encouragement to other guys who've gone through similar experiences.
Awesome, awesome. You know, most people say, "Oh, that's my wife's thing," or "Oh, that's my lady's thing," or that's that thing." But Antoine has created a phenomenal space for men, and you know, it's a safe place. So I wanted to make sure. So Antoine Watson, look for him on Facebook, Antwon Watson on Facebook, and follow him, and learn more about those events as he gets ready. Hopefully, we'll interview him sometime soon in regards to that, because especially closer to June to Father's Day area. Okay, remind me of that. Don't let me forget
I
that.
will. I'll remind you.
Okay. Good evening, Dr. Kennedy. How are you, love? So now going to telling our story, surviving and thriving. Yay!
Yeah, we did it.
So, yeah, we did it. So the difference for you in the first book as opposed to this one.
I feel like the difference for me really is when I wrote the first book, I guess in my mind, I kind of like told myself that I was in a good place. Like, you know, I'm at the mountaintop, like with my grief, I got a handle on this and all of that. And then like when I wrote the second book in my chapter, I really realized I still had some really low moments that I needed to deal with. So I feel like in my mind, I kind of had tricked myself to believing that I was at a good place, not realizing there were some things I hadn't dealt with related to losing Alana.
Right. So it's more of like in the first book, you're thinking, oh, now what you need to do and what you need to, and this one is like, oh, wait a minute, I have some unresolved issues. And I felt the same, very similar. Even my chapter about my dad, and he's been gone 2010. That's 11 years. And you think, oh, okay, he was an adult. He wasn't a baby. He was 70 some years old, but you still say, I wish I would like to, and but we just have to keep moving and deal with those days and deal with those issues and deal with those times. So you can purchase both books at the AlanaMarieProject.com. Click on shop and go for it. Okay, so I have to ask you, so what's next, Marquise?
So what's next? So we actually have our golf outing coming up on May 22nd. It's a little plug here. But it's actually a really special event this year because it's actually on Alana, what would have been her 7th birthday.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a big celebration in honor of our sweet angel on her 7th birthday. The information's on our website under the events tab. Come out, grab your golfing buddy, and join us. It's going to be an awesome time.
Oh, May 22nd. Oh my gosh. That was her birthday, May 22nd?
Yes, May 20th. Yes.
May 22nd. Oh my gosh, mine's May 29th. Hey, yay! We in company, Gemini's. Yay! Oh, that's so phenomenal, and that is a great way to honor and enjoy and all that wrapped up into one, as well as support a fantastic organization. So the AlanaMarieProject.com. Click on shop for the books, as well as more information. I don't know nothing about golf. I'm not athletic at all, but it just sounds like fun. If nothing else, just getting sweet tea and being cute in outfits.
Yeah, I
Hey,
don't
being
golf.
outside.
I don't golf. I just stand and, just tell people what to do and where to go. That's all I do.
And staying and being cute outfits. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more with you.
Awesome.
Elgina. Hello, Ms. Bullock Smith. How are you, love?
I am amazing. Thank you for asking, Julia.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. That is so wonderful. So, Miss Elgina Bullock Smith, okay, when we met and talked like what was it, 2 years ago? You were agonizing over one book. Now we've got three. Did you see how Jesus worked that? He give us more. He multiplies. Doesn't he do that thing? He will multiply.
Ask or even think.
Ask or even think. See how that works? See how that works when we just keep moving forward and keep doing what we do. Okay, so tell us about your first book, even before we get to the telling our stories. The first two.
Morning After Morning is actually my testimony on what it is to go through maybe a walk with a griever, and to just see some of the things that really plague the hearts of those that have to deal with loss, and the reality that comes behind, the actual death of the loved one. And then I said to myself, in a conversation you actually had with me, I was like, well, I really want to do more than just tell my story. I want to tell what we did to get to the point to where we're on the road to this place called healing. We're actually on a journey, and it's every day. You have to make this promise to yourself to do what you need to do to get as far away from day one as possible, because throughout grief, we know that there are steps and levels to it. And I wanted to prove to people that there is good information about grief that can help you go through the process, and so that you can get to the healing. And so we did the workbook. Julia's idea was, Elgina, you have so many other ideas and activities. And we just compiled everything that I felt that was literally a care package for a griever. Everything that you need from A to Z, learning the processes, because a lot of times once you initially deal with grief, it could be the very first big death that you have to be responsible for.
Exactly.
And I had a lot of inconsistency. I didn't have the knowledge to say I know how to, efficiently write an obituary. I didn't know what to do with my son's remains, his clothing, and what do I do with finding out who to invite to his funeral and what songs. And so we even came together and wrote a living will, so that you can do this while your child still is with you in case of an emergency. You would rather be prepared. Proper planning prevents the poor performance. This was the last honorable act that I could do for my child, and I did not have all the pieces to put the puzzle together. And that, on top of the loss, really is, a griever's nightmare. And so I never wanted another griever to go through what I went through. So my 5-year journey to this day, I compiled all the information and put it in this book so that you can have a keepsake. And even if it doesn't happen to you, somebody, grief is not a stranger. It visits everyone. And so that's my spill on the actual testimony. And then here's the facts and the truth.
Well, I have told many people, especially about your that Good Grace Guide to Healing. Of course, your main book too as well. But having that all in a place, how we go to, well, when we used to do a lot of in person, we would go to wakes and you have my condolences and, praying for you and, God loves you and here's the envelope and here's whatever. But the back of that is just so much more. There's so many things. And you're right. When people do not have, the knowledge, is like their first major, and then you just want somebody else to handle it, and there's still so many questions you have to answer, there's so many decisions you have to make, and they always teach you don't make any major decisions in medical or in death, but you have to finally put that almost in a sidebar and then make these decisions. But that Good Grief's Guide to Healing is really, I mean, not just because I'm the publisher, but because it really in a package. If you don't know what that behind the scenes looks like and those questions and some resources and tools, be sure and get this. Okay, so we got book 1 and email Elgina Bullock Smith and then find her on social media as well. So we got book 1, we got book 2, the workbook. Okay. Telling our story, surviving and thriving. So What did that feel like doing that chapter?
Okay. So honestly, these last 45 days have been very trying. On top of the year of the pandemic, I wrote all of these books in and out of this pandemic year. They all have been published, last year and this year. And so God is
so it's within a year. I mean, we're basically at the 1 year anniversary. 3 books done. Now don't say it can't be done. Come on. Don't say it can't be done.
That in itself has been amazing. I wear a lot of hats, but to wear the hat of the new title author has blown me completely away. I would have never saw myself in this seat, but I made a promise at the casket and I said, God, I want to build a legacy for my son. And this has just been one of those avenues that God has just placed me in and put me in position with people that have so much knowledge and information and sisterhood that I could be a part of. Thrive. If I didn't obey and keep my promise to do these 2, I would have never got to this. And this has been very rewarding because it does 3 things for you mentally. It lets you know that your pain has a purpose. Then it lets you know that God's promise was that he would send a comforter. And then this circle of love, this unity, this sisterhood, it made me feel like God did not just pick on me. Life happens to everybody, but it's how you go through life, what you decide to do with your situation and, the circumstances makes you bitter or better. And I just believe that this is building the bitter out of me. And God is just catapulting my life. And he's doing it in an accelerated rate because it's needed in this end time. It
really is. Yes. It's needed not only in the end time, but it's authentic. Absolutely. This is my thing, is that it is truly authentic. I mean, we have people who have actually experienced it. It's just not me publishing a book and not having connection with the actual person that it actually happened to. And come to the kingdom to save much people alive. We've got to do it, and I believe it, and I'm embracing it. And I just the best is yet to come. That's all I've got to say. So Miss Elgina Bullock Smith, reach out to her, email her, find her on social media. I know she's going to be going live. She will sign books for you, and thank you so much.
About September the 12th, when Mourners Meet They Men, we will have another. It's going to be an annual event. Every year we come together with just the community, because I learned also in this book, it's just not my pain of losing a son. All of us have a different story. Like you lost your father.
Right.
We've lost something, and everybody's lost. We paid a cost for that. And I mean, it really was a sacrifice to lose those loved ones. So when Mourners Meet They Men is a foundation that my husband and I, we are founding, and it's just been a blessing to be a part of it. Because
wait a minute, we got to mark our calendar. September, say that date again, September 12th. Okay. So we've got events to support. When Mourners Meet They Men. I was there last year. After COVID, that was the only event I went to. I honestly, that was the only in-person event. Good evening, everybody. And thank you so much, Elgina. There's my girl, Miss Kathy. You'll find somebody who looks kind of like her in a minute, but kind of like her in a minute. Thank you, love. We'll talk soon. Don't go anywhere. All right. For those of you who are joining us, so glad you're here with us, telling our stories, surviving and thriving. I have the 4 other authors who collaborated with me. And if you have any questions, feel free to jump on. I am super duper excited. Miss Cassandra Lanier. Oh my goodness, love. How are you? How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing love. I'm doing good. Okay, do you have your first book? Tell us a little bit about your first book. You have it handy. Yay.
Yes, my first book is My Life Under the Sunshine, and it's basically a walk with me through the week before my daughter's accident on up until the day of her service. And it basically just shares with you my pain, my walk with God, even through that time. And yeah, that's basically it.
And you get to see great pictures and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I got my grandbabies and my family, and then my daughter.
Yes. It's a wonderful inside look. When Cassandra first came to me, it was probably about what was it? September of that same year.
I think it was after my daughter's birthday.
Yeah, it was after your daughter's birthday. And she said, well, she just, I lost her in May. I said, what year in May? She said, this one. I said, oh my. So, it is, that was, to me, that was extremely fresh for me, fresh for her. It definitely was for me. But just, how God works, and, part of you is like, why? And then the other part of you is like, oh my gosh, so much life. Even seeing the old videos and, she over the top. I mean, life full for head to toe, but we know that there's life after this. So I think that was the push, the drive to not only just complete the book, but even for what you're doing now. Because I know you're a little on the quiet, shy side. So.
Yes, I am. And I'm working on that, because Yolanda was a very free spirit, and she always tried to pull me out and get me to just be a little more active and everything. And I just feel like in losing her, I lost her in a way, but I also gained more of her, because it's pushed me into my purpose. But I feel like something that's always been there, but it took that pain to bring that purpose to the forefront. And I'm determined to be a voice for her. And yeah, I'm coming out of my shell a little bit. I'm so proud and honored to be a part of, this collaboration on this book, and being connected with 4 other just beautiful, God-filled spiritual women, because I prayed for that. And I asked God to surround me around spirit-filled women. And he did exactly what he said. He's just been keeping his promise to me over and over and over again. And that's what's been giving me the strength, along with my daughter, and just feeling her presence, knowing that she's still here. She's not here in the physical, but I feel her all the time. And that just pushes me to keep going and going and going and going. So.
Oh, that's just phenomenal. It blesses me. It blesses me. So, Kathy said, good evening. And then my cousin, Mr. Carl Pryor, says, I put you on Black History page. It's 13,000 members. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing this evening. And I greatly, greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Our goal with this book, with everything that we do, that it bless somebody else, that it helps somebody else. I have already put books in the mail on today to ship to people in recovery that cannot afford to purchase our book. So I wanted to do that. That's just a part of what I wanted to do as well. But they also have organizations, the Alana Marie Project, as well as Elgina's When Mourners Meet They Men Project, and Cassandra, what is I know there's your email for people to actually purchase from you, purchase signed copies. So what's the organization that that you connect with, that you
The Kentucky Organ Donors Affiliates. My daughter was an organ donor, and I've become a member of their Family Donor Coalition. And any of the part of the proceeds of my book will be going towards any of the things that they need done at the Kentucky Organ Donors Affiliates. So.
Awesome, awesome. That is a wonderful, worthwhile organization as well. And I just look for phenomenal things for Cassandra to do even more. Okay, so tell me how you felt. I know you're glad to be with us, but how did it feel writing this one on Surviving and Thriving?
On this one, my first book was a breakthrough for me. It was a little healing for me. On this one, it was me wanting to help someone else heal, because we're all going through, like she said, to piggyback off of Elgina, we're all experiencing different types of grief, but pain is pain. And I just wanted to help somebody hopefully understand that they're never alone. And just the words that God has spoke to me through scripture or song or whatever, I wanted to share that with somebody else to help them through their process of healing. So this was good for me, because that's what I want to do, is help somebody else.
And as we help somebody else, we're helping somebody else overcome. Now, Cassandra's chapter is filled with music to help you and scripture and therapeutic music, because music and laughter does like a medicine, but music has medicinal purposes as well. And so she has some wonderful inspirational music that will help soothe you, encourage you, empower you, and to keep you moving forward. So, and Miss Cassandra, she's got another gift too. She writes plays, so I look for that to play.
I'm praying on that.
I know you didn't want a cat out of the bag, but the timing is everything. I mean, it's not like it's not written and completely finished. It's just the opportunity, but I just want.
I'm talking. I'm working on talking with somebody about it. So
yeah, I'm on my end. I'm praying that the right person and put it all together, because it's done. It's copywritten. It's ready to go and ready to be finished. I mean, no, ready to be performed, because it's finished.
Yes.
It just needs to be performed and all that good stuff. So I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
From the lady we met 2 or 3 years ago to this lady now. I told her, I said, I'm getting there. I was like, I'm not sleeping on you, Cassandra. I'm gonna put you more up on stage more than you know. So Cassandra Lanier, reach out to her, follow her on Facebook. She is extremely active and encouraging. Purchase both of the books. There you go. Purchase both of her books and really support them. Also, any of the books, all the materials, all of the people who are going to be on tonight, they are available. I'm just talking for them. They are available to speak at your event. They're available, especially since we are still in virtual spaces. You have to ask them whether they're willing to do any in person. But as far as going on your lives and talking about not only their book, but also their journey for ministry, for recovery, for whatever that looks like, reach out to all of them. They're all on Facebook. So connect with these ladies so that they can be a blessing continually ongoing. Thank you so much, Cassandra. Don't leave. Don't go nowhere. All righty. So those of you who are joining us, thank you so much for being here. I'm telling our story, Surviving and Thriving. And I'm just really excited about where the book can go, what the book can do, but also the message that it brings of hope and healing and recovery. And the last lady who I'm going to bring on is minister, evangelist, coach, speaker, what else? Radio host, foundation leader, what else? A wife, mother, and wait a minute, what's your grandmother name? Nana, Gigi, what? Okay, wait a minute, hold on, you're on mute. What's your grandmother name?
It's Nona.
It's Nona. Okay, I gotta ask. I always have to ask which one. Welcome, Miss Karen Brown. How are you, love?
I am well and grateful to be on here.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you're here. So tell us a little about, at least about your first and second book.
The first and second books, the first one, which took a long time to write, and as I pulled the drafts up to complete it, I did a whole different book. So this one,
You and Elgina. you
this
you and
one-
Elgina.
this one highlights this one highlights the young parent. So I talk about my mom and the trials and tribulations she went through and how her life was taken. But not only that, I talk about the steps that I had to take because of it or lack of information that I received due to it. And then after that, I followed with a journal book, Read, Breathe, and Journal. So my first book is One Breath at a Time. A little girl remembers to breathe through it all. And then the second one is Read, Breathe, Journal. Because sometimes we got to just pull back and reflect.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Yes.
So I want you to talk about that process, because when we met, was that 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay. It's rolling into year 4, and late at night and hanging out in the lobby and having a wonderful time talking, like, okay, we do have to get up in the morning. We both have to speak at a conference. Okay, so we better go to sleep. But what does that look like from that moment of those notebooks, those journals that I know you had, and keeping them in your space, to thinking, oh my gosh, I got to release this?
Right. I think that moment was confirmation that you are supposed to get it done, because I don't believe we met by chance. I don't believe we ended up in a whole different state than either of us live in by mistake. So I think that was confirmation. And at the same time, my girlfriend that was with me beating my leg saying, did you hear she said she's a publisher? Did you hear she said she's a publisher? So, and like you said, and then staying up all hours of the night, because we did have to get up early in the morning, but we were up in the lobby of the hotel having a beautiful conversation. But it was more than a conversation, because it felt like I've known you my whole life.
Yeah.
So that comfort level, it was just confirmation. Go back, finish it. She's the one. Because I had been looking up publishers. I've been doing the research and I wasn't comfortable. But I think with you, I didn't even know any of your work. I was just comfortable through the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a wonderful time. So it really didn't take long once the comfort level of, I guess, with me or meeting me happened. But I knew it was a powerful story, and all these ladies write extremely well. So getting their ideas out, is not the issue. It's just getting the manuscript out of their hands, like getting it to me. That's usually the biggest issue and the biggest thing for all of us. So writing that, so how did both of those books? It's been quite emotional, correct?
Very emotional. I think the first one, when I first started it, it wasn't as emotional because I wasn't allowing the emotions to come. And then as I start writing and doing more within it, I remember some notes and I remember letters and I remember a packet my grandmother gave me. So I pulled that out, and then that's where the story took a whole new direction. And then I wrote where I would be crying like 3 o'clock in the morning. My husband like, can you stop writing for like an hour, just so he wouldn't be sad. But it was time. And then with the journal book, that was a whole different grief, because the journal book came after losing a child. So then my story, where I figured when I come out with this one, I get this out, I can start trying to heal from the child trauma. But now here comes the next set. So what do I do? And I'm so grateful for our connection. And like the other lady said, for the connection of newfounded sisters.
Right.
I can cry to, I can laugh with, I can enjoy conversations, or I can just in the group message do a sigh and everybody understand what I mean.
Yeah, right.
And I'm so
grateful. And that does make a difference. That does make a difference, being able, because even though I've never had any biological children, they have all lost a biological child, but it's like, I had a student killed in a head-on collision.
Right.
And it was like my child died. I was like not good. I mean,
Right.
she's somewhere else and ready to graduate high school, and I was devastated. As but it's the whole process of the sisterhood and the connection and all of that. Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great thing.
It is.
All right. So surviving and thriving. How we doing?
Woo! Surviving and thriving. Can I just tell you, I had like an outer body experience with this book that I actually took part in when I was in the emergency room with my husband last week. I pulled the book out of my book bag. I read it from beginning to end, and I just felt so much comfort. And I'm not saying this because I'm in it. I felt so much comfort. I felt a little bit of joy and the sadness, when you're sitting there going through something, and we're all human. So the thoughts of, I wonder what if, and is this going to be the next one? And I can't take it no more. And I was so comforted by this book, where I think that's the only time I was in the emergency room that I said to myself, well, I hope they don't help them as fast so I can finish.
Poor pastor.
but it was such a blessing, and it just touched me where I get chills just talking about it. So I'm excited where God's sending us, not only with this book, but with everything else that he's sowing into us.
Yes, exactly. So you can purchase all of Karen's books there at gumroad.com /KYD Brown, honey. Yo, Miss Olivia, hello, how are you? And then Kathy, that's my girl. She's holding it down. Okay, so quickly, because I want to bring everybody else back on because we can talk all night. But the foundation. Tell us about your foundation, the organization.
Yes. The ES3 Foundation, which stands for Eddie Servance III, was founded after I lost my middle child. And he was my earth, fire, water, wind child, where he just loved life, explored life, and he always wanted to help someone. So we created this foundation in honor of him, which is a mentoring program which provides support, love, and guidance the Edo way. Edo was one of his other nicknames. He had a million nicknames. So Edo, we take that, and it stands for educating people to decide to develop and overcome the Edo way. That we can get through the obstacles. We may not get through them as fast as somebody else, but we can get through them. So with proceeds of this book will go towards that foundation. His birthday month is June, so we do an annual walk because he loved to hike. Mama tried to hike. I can't hike right now, but so I walk. But he loved wearing tie-dye and funny socks. So we wear our tie-dye and our funny socks, and through the whole month of June, I collect socks throughout the community, which I then supply to a nonprofit that helps children or unwed mothers, and different programs. We pick a different nonprofit to share with. So we're always giving back how he would have gave back.
Awesome. So reach out to Karen Brown. She's on Facebook as well. Karen Dixon Brown, I think, is your name on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you, I'm not shipping socks, but I hit the Cash App. That's the way I roll. Yes. I'm the gift card lady. Where's the Cash App? And then I make able to make that donation. So each of these ladies has an organization for you to support, and I'm going to bring them all back in. Yay. So first off, I want to say, first off, thank you for your participation. Y'all turned them chapters around real fast, and I'm really appreciative of it, and thank you so much. If you would like for us as a group or any of us to participate in any of your online events, please do so as well. And then secondly, we are planning a retreat because there's a difference in writing a regular nonfiction book, a children's book, or even a fiction, poetry, all of that is totally different. When we're writing from an emotional place, a place of grief, a place of loss, that is a different a level of writing and emotion. Writing is a emotional task anyway, isolation task anyway. But I want to offer to mark your calendars, just pencil it in March 2022. I already told them let's go somewhere March 22, and then we look at that. What's the next steps after surviving and thriving? Or if we have others who wish to write their stories, no matter how painful they are, to be able to have the opportunity to participate in that. So pencil it in. You'll get more information about summer, and we'll be doing the planning as far as that's concerned. But reach out to them, mark your calendars, follow them on social media so that you can participate and really support their 501c3 organizations. They are organizations that need our support. And I'm thrilled to know and associate with them and to actually know that they're here and somewhere, a safe place even for me. Believe you me, we've been in the chat more times than not. This happened. What about that? That happened. Oh my gosh, we got you. We love you. We got you. We love you. We got you. So being able to have that space. So when this retreat, writers retreat comes up, there's going to be more people helping you to coach you through their process, to write through that process, than just myself. So I want them to have an idea and express how they wrote it, because everybody who wrote on this panel writes totally different. And even though I have a method that I use, that might not work for everybody else. And when you're going through the grieving process and writing, and it's emotional, sometimes you get stopped. It's not necessarily you're stuck. There's a door, there's a issue, there's a person, there's a situation that you don't want to necessarily go through. And it may take a minute to say, oh, hold on, I need a breather right through here. Or I need to walk, or I need to go outside, or I need to, take a stop and take a stopping place right here. So fortunately at that event, you will have 5 people who have actually gone through similar. All of us have similar stories and situations, but I can almost guarantee you somebody in this team and panel will say, yeah, okay, that's what happened. Okay, this is what we can do. So I want you to be sure and follow us on social media, reach out to us, telling our stories, surviving and thriving. If we can be of assistance and partner with a nonprofit, as well as participate in an organization or a conference, we would love to do so. You can reach out and inbox me, but you can inbox any of them as well. And so that they can help minister, especially for church and ministry leaders who need speakers and who need people to really broach those difficult conversations. If you do not have a grief ministry in your church, these ladies can help with that process. They can provide resources and tools and information. So I'm super excited with everything. And anybody else, as they say, all minds clear. Anybody else have any closing remarks? I'm going to mute everybody.
I want to say something real quick, Julia. It wouldn't be right for us to end this event without giving big thanks to you for helping pull this whole project together. So thank you so much, Julia, for just walking with us through this, for being patient with us, for loving us through the meetings.
I love y'all. I love y'all. And
thank you, Julia. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Y'all just got to get y'all bags packed, because when this COVID thing is shut down and when Marquise finishes that next degree, then we got to be headed to hit on tour, hit on the road. So we'll figure that out in 2022. The Lord be our keeper and helper, and open up a door and continue to provide that way. And thank you so much for all that you all do, and get yourselves ready. We never know. We have to make ourselves available and ready for what God has in store. I want to, right before we go, I want to invite you. I'm going live every Monday. So March 22nd, the next week is the church goes back in the building, a conversation. So I'm having a conversation with ministry leaders, pastors, and worship leaders, and what that looks like, and what that is going to be like, and what does the ministry leaders need to do even after we've been out of the building for a year, a solid year. The church has still been moving, but we've been out of the building for a year. So be on the lookout for next Monday, same time, same station. Let's have a conversation. Jump on in, ask questions. I'll have a ministry consultant as well. So super excited as well. So I love you all. Y'all got my heart, and let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. So everybody, good night, and you all be blessed, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye.
Night.